Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Neon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
It's time for another daily dose of dismal Disney. We're going to talk about Bob Iger, the new new CEO of Disney, coming back after Bob Chapek got fired, and there was a town hall meeting where he didn't answer any questions.
He pretty much sidestepped most everything.
Very, very Disney. This is a very Disney way to answer. Yeah, they flat out asked him several things, including whether or not Disney would consider selling itself to Apple, and he gave a non-committal type answer to it, like, "Well, we're not really planning on it. It's just kind of scuttlebutt." And the next question, which means, yeah, there's something going on, because the speculation has been that Bob Iger was brought back to seal the deal with Apple. That was one thing he regretted not doing before he got gone, before he wanted to sell the company to Apple.
Well, I want to see what he says, and then I'll form my opinion from that, because I haven't heard what he said yet.
Okay, we're getting there. We're getting there. Anyway, we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about how even Forbes was calling out that before Bob Chapek got gone, the price hikes and ride failures angered the customers. This has been going on for a while. This was going on even on, Iger's watch.
Right. Like a lot of the things that Chapek got blamed for. Now, I mean, I am in no way excusing Chapek. I think Chapek was an idiot, and I think he did a lot of things wrong. But some of the things he got blamed for were not his fault. It was already in play with Iger, and for whatever reason, everybody forgets that when they bring Iger back. They're
like, wow, remember when things were better at Disney like 10 years ago? Yeah, it's going to be like that again. It's like, no, all the stuff that's going on now, he set it up, guys. So we'll see what's going on here, but I think things are a lot worse than.
The stock's dropping again.
Yeah, and it's because of this town hall meeting. I think things are a lot worse than Disney is letting on. I mean, remember, they spent $70 billion on Fox, and they got a pig in a poke. They got very little usable IP out of it.
What's interesting to me is the stock went up when all the Apple speculation started. Then he's like, whatever he says. I have to look and see what he says.
Yeah.
And now all of a sudden, it's gone back down.
Right. So let's talk about that. Before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. Guys, over 281, almost 282,000 subs. Hey, if you want to support the channel, we just got a brand new shipment of Clownfish buttons back in. These are new pins. They're bigger than the other ones. They're higher quality than the other ones. They have 2 pin backs.
We actually made these ones. We had them made ourselves.
Yeah, we went through a third-party vendor before, which, but these are very good pins. Check them out on shopclownfish.com. We've got a limited supply, but they're beautiful. They really turned out really nice. So let's talk about this. The Hollywood Reporter, Bob Iger dismisses mega deal talk. Of course he did. Says Apple sale is pure speculation and will keep Disney hiring freeze. Do I like the company being embroiled in controversy? Of course not. The returning CEO also told staff at a town hall in response to a question about Disney's relationship to politics.
Yeah, maybe we shouldn't have gotten into politics so much, which mostly was under Iger.
That again was under Iger, because Iger was, courting the Democratic Party. And, now here's the difference between Iger and Chapek. Difference between Iger and Chapek is Iger made everything look better. He wasn't as in your face about it. And Chapek was just very clumsy and very awkward. And he did have to, I think, pay for a lot of Iger's decisions, So they had a town hall meeting for the first time since his sudden return. Iger said that while the ask was a surprise, he also had some inkling that the call could come that day.
Wait. You can't be both ways. And even talking to the place of asking his wife if he should do it, and she was like, well, if you're asked, you have to do it.
You have to. It's your calling, Bob.
And he said he's never fully detached. And from what I was hearing going on before, Chapek got fired, so it sounds like there's some stuff going on before this. He was talking to people about the company and how he didn't like Chapek's choices, and he wouldn't do it publicly, but privately he was making comments. So, that's a little weird. I'm surprised, shocked, I tell you.
Yeah, her reaction, his wife's reaction was, if you're asked, you have to do it. He said, adding that while he was emotionally distant purposefully from the company after he left, he was never fully detached.
Yeah, that I believe. From what I'm hearing, that's probably right.
Yeah, so this is interesting because it was rumored 8 months ago that he could actually be reinstated as CEO.
I will admit, I thought that was total shit.
Yeah, well, I also thought it was a stretch that Disney could get sold, but here we are. And
Yeah,
this
it's still
is-
not enough on buying the Apple thing. But
well,
we'll see.
we'll see. Facing a wide range of questions from employees, some in the room and some remote, some on the record and some anonymous, Iger addressed everything from potential deal making, his desire to have employees back in the office, to the company's relationship with the state of Florida and whether it should wade into political controversies.
He shouldn't, but you do anyway.
He also noted that the hiring freeze that his predecessor Bob Chapek put in place will continue, calling it a wise move given the sector's challenges. And as he figures out how to rationalize Disney's cost structure, we need to work quickly, but we should be smart about it. Disney is in deep shit. I think Disney is in deeper shit than they've let on. We've already seen that Bob Chapek was cooking the books to make it look like, and it might not just be Bob Chapek. It might have been the whole damn executive suite, but he's the one, of course, who got blamed for it. They wanted to make it look like Disney Plus was doing much better than it actually was. We have said before, Disney is notorious for this. There was a whole drama with Sandy Kuba, the whistleblower, who said Disney is notorious for this. And they're always going to look as good as they can to their shareholders. But that last earnings call was like, knock this shit off.
It was bad.
This is a disaster. It was very short. It's like there's no way to put a positive spin on this. And I think it's much, much worse than they're letting on. They would not have switched out Chapek for Iger that quickly.
No.
If it was like, well, you know, we need to kind of pivot, whatever. They're like, hiring freeze, get that CEO out of here. We're going to restructure the company, fire all the people that was working for. I mean, there's some panic going on.
Yeah, I mean, whatever was revealed to the board by McCarthy and friends must have been pretty damning.
Did she show them the truth? Did she say, look, guys, we're completely fucked? And Bob 2, didn't want me to tell you, but we're in deep shit. Because we're sitting here like, and we've been doing multiple videos about this, trying to keep track of the spending and the borrowing in our heads, just back of envelope math. $70 billion, which is way too much money for Fox, right? And then another, however, 100 and some billion dollars they borrowed to stay afloat during the pandemic, which still has to be paid back. And all the money they've sunk into Disney Plus, which it turns out is a lot more money than they were letting on. Yeah, they have a lot of subs, but they're spending way more on content than they were telling people.
You have to remember, too, the content spend isn't just for over here. They have other markets they spend on content there as well. They're just for those markets specifically. So people are like, well, there isn't a whole lot of new stuff, so I don't know where the money's going. That's across the board, I'm sure. Anyway, I just think it's funny that they're talking about, here's what you said about the Apple.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Okay, so on M&A, this is mergers and acquisitions. Iger dismissed the idea that Apple could buy Disney as, okay, listen to how he worded it. This is lying by omission. On M&A, Iger dismissed the idea that Apple could buy Disney as pure speculation and said he does not expect the company to make any significant acquisitions during his second term as CEO. Oh, it's just a rumor for now that Apple, that we can merge with Apple. And I personally do not plan on buying anything else. Well, he can't because the company's credit, they're overextended.
Yeah, they can't do that anymore.
They can't. And I think that came up because a lot of people were wondering if they wouldn't swoop in and grab like Warner Brothers or something like that. And I think at that point, I think there would be some antitrust issues.
I'm sure when he came back, probably part of the deal was you're not allowed to buy stuff.
Probably. They're like,
not after Fox.
We're cutting your credit card up, Bob, because Fox was the most worthless bullshit thing they've ever done. I mean, basically, they went to Rupert Murdoch's garage sale, bought a bunch of shit that wasn't worth it anymore, tried to make movies off of like Home Alone and Predator and whatever. And the Predator movie actually was okay, but it wasn't worth $70 billion.
But Home Alone was not.
Home Alone wasn't worth $70,
was not.
And so they're trying to like milk these properties that they just can't do it. There was nothing there that had major value. And then what they did get out of it was they regained the full rights to Fantastic Four, X-Men, Silver Surfer. But these movies are how many years away?
Yeah, but some of them, they're still tied up. They might have the rights, but they can't do certain things because of other movie, deals and that's already set up. So it's like you get it, but you don't get it,
Yeah. So anyway, he said, we have a great set of assets here, while noting that every acquisition also included people who have been critical to Disney's success, like John Lasseter from Pixar, who probably could have made Strange World into a good movie, and you had to shit can him, didn't you, Bob? You had to shit can him because he hugged people too much. And that's been going on for years. Nothing is forever, but I am very, very comfortable with each of the assets that we have. So there is a lot to unpack here. This is the Chapek Iger difference. Chapek would have been like, well, guys, I think we're kind of fucked, and I'm going to have to fire a bunch of y'all. But I think the future is looking pretty good.
Because we're good at storytelling.
We're good at storytelling, and the story of our story is a story about stories.
Synergy.
Synergy, and yes, and we love the gay people. Did we mention that? Yeah, we love you guys. We're just going to fire a bunch of you. Sorry. Yeah, so what he is saying, he's sidestepping the issue about the Apple acquisition because that's what people are.
No, just has pure speculation. We don't know all of what he said.
If he said hell no, that's not even going to happen. He didn't. He said that's speculation. Mm-hmm. That's a corporate non-answer. I speak. This is Iger. He's greasy as hell. I mean, he knows how to. He's very slick. He knows how to word it. So you can't come back in 2 years and be like, dude, you lied during a town hall meeting to your employees. It's like, no, it was at the time pure speculation. But now it's but at the time we didn't know at the time. I mean,
it wasn't done deal yet, so it was just speculation.
Yeah, the ink hadn't dried yet. It was pure speculation. It sounds to me, again, look, I don't know for sure, but they're like, he's also like not saying that they're not going to sell off assets. Nothing is forever, but I'm comfortable with each of the assets that we have. That could also imply we could sell something off to make some money. I mean, maybe somebody wants Star Wars because we don't know what the hell we're doing with it.
No, they're not going to get rid of Star Wars. They should, but they're not gonna. I like this. Basically, you have to come back to office.
Yes. So a lot of things that people didn't want to hear. I happen to believe that in creative businesses, there's tremendous value in working in the same place. It creates an energy. It's very enabling to creativity. I'm not making any proclamations, but I think it's extremely important. I'm gonna let you make the decision to come back to the office, and then if you don't come back to the office, I'm gonna go all Elon Musk on you and fire your asses. It's gonna make it a lot easier when we have to cut back, because right now there's a hiring freeze. We're gonna start laying people off, and if you're not in the office,
yeah. But then he adds, but he thinks that a lot of companies should be more flexible.
Well, it depends on how valuable you are. I mean, this is any company. I mean, I was working from home. The one job I had, probably half the time I was there, but at that point, I'd like to think I was bringing value to the company that they allowed me to do it. But as soon as you're no longer valuable or necessary, or the project they had you on is done, you're out the door. I mean, that's just kind of how it works. He was also asked about Disney's tense relationship with Florida, which has sought to revoke the Reedy Creek Improvement District that houses Walt Disney World after the ham-handed response to the state's so-called, at least now they're saying so-called, don't say gay bill. I had no idea what its ramifications are in terms of the business itself, Iger said, of the move to shutter Reedy Creek. Oh, no, they're screwed because that's a huge tax shelter for them. They're screwed. Adding he needs to learn more. No. He knows. He's probably like, shit. And the board's
he made
like,
comments when it happened.
Yeah.
I thought, if he needed to learn more, why was he out there making comments if he didn't know? I'm just saying.
That's so Bob. This is it, guys. This is Bob Iger. Again, this is the same song and dance he gave George Lucas. Same song and dance. He probably gave everybody that he bought their company, like, hey, it's going to be fine, guys. Non-committal answers.
When asked about the stance on taking political stances, he said, I think there's a misconception here about what politics is. Some of the subjects that have been proven to be been controversial as it relates to Disney have been branded political, and I don't think they are. You're literally getting involved in the politics of Florida,
yes,
and in a bill and taking sides and stuff, and then you're saying, well, that's not being political. Then what is? Oh, I know. Trying to get yourself an ambassadorship to China.
Yeah, right. Well, you're in a sticky place right now, aren't you, Bob? Because Bob Iger really, really, really likes China. And, Shanghai Disneyland was his legacy, right? And a lot of the other causes that are causing Disney headaches at this point fly in the face of things that the Chinese government find acceptable. Let's put it that way. Yes, it's going to be really hard to reconcile, like, hey, let's make movies for China and let's kiss China's butt with, hey, let's promote LGBTQ.
Well, he did
causes
kiss
and
China's
let's-
butt with Mulan, and look how that turned out.
They didn't want their butt kissed. They didn't. They didn't.
Depends what gender's kissing what gender's butt.
I don't know. No, they said you basically ruined the story and you
I know, I'm just being
took the
smart.
heroes out of it. And all this, actually, weirdly enough, a lot of things that a lot of people have been complaining about. I mean, China just wants basic, normie, mainstream, popcorn movie, non-controversial, turn your brain off, watch it, whatever movie. Like Avatar is coming out over there, right? So it's probably going to be just turn your brain
They
off.
got themselves that
You
one.
know, but yeah, so do I like the company being embroiled in controversy? Of course not. It's bad for business. Noting that to the extent I can quiet things down, he will try to do so. See, this is the difference. Disney's always been this way, at least under Iger. They haven't been as overt with the politics, and they weren't as clumsy as Bob Chapek was in dealing with it. Bob Iger, I'll be honest, I think he would have been a lot smoother dealing with it. I don't think they would have lost Reedy Creek with Bob Iger. I think he would have weaseled his way out of it somehow. But Bob Chapek's just like, and he just threw kerosene on the fire because he didn't know what the hell he was doing. Nothing is, they're talking about technology. Nothing's going to stop technological advancement because, everybody loves Apple products. They would love Apple products with an apple and little mouse ears on it too, wouldn't they? Disney has typically embraced new technology to tell better stories. They're talking about AI art is kind of interesting. They just kind of snuck that in at the end, didn't they? Artists are going to love that. So anyway, lots of people saying that, look, before all this, Disney's been failing with customers. I mean, I was thinking about it today and, thinking about this article, and I'm like, God, probably the worst thing Bob Chapek said of all the shit that went down was calling their pass holders undesirables.
Oh, yeah, that was dumb.
Like, I mean, you literally just shot yourself in the effing foot.
I still can't believe he did that. Well, then McCarthy told everybody they were kind of fat.
McCarthy called them fat. You called them undesirable. It's like, why don't you just, like, did you ever see that skit on SNL with William Shatner at the Star Trek convention?
No.
Where he tells everybody to just get a life?
No.
It's like, you should have just done that, Bob. Got up on stage at D23 and be like, I see all you out there with mouse ears and everything, and you've all got your stories to tell, and y'all love this brand and this product and this company. Get a life. Stop it. You're undesirable and you're fat. Let's get the hell out of here. Anyway, so that is the latest. It's the stock is not doing that great. We'll see what happens, but I still think I think it's very possible they could.
I don't think there's enough for to go on yet. He wouldn't answer the question, but I don't know. I didn't hear exactly what he said, and the way it was worded in this article sounds like it could be connected, but I don't know if that's actually how it was presented.
We'll see what happens. There's a reason he's back. And we'll see. Anyway, we're gonna wrap this up.
Yep.
Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. We'll talk later.
Bye.